Hey, what's up, everyone? It's John with National Sports Entertainment, and I just wanted to recap tonight real quick and then go into the NBA games tomorrow in college. And I think it's cool because a lot of people are joining the Discord, so it makes it where everything kind of comes together. But if you're not in the Discord, I do suggest you join there. We got a lot of good picks just in the Discord today. I've never even heard who Farley Dickinson is, but somebody brought up to me that they had not gone under all year. We picked them. We hit that. We hit ECU. So we hit some games in the Discord a lot. I try and get every pick I have out there, but you could imagine, look at just these games, and that's just one of the sports. Regarding the ones we did play, kind of the same story as most of our, and again, it's the story of the sequence. Today we started off slow. Not slow. We started off bad, and we finished off it really strong. So I had Louisville covering. I had that as a second leg. I thought they'd cover, and they didn't. So they'd go to 0-5 or something of that regard on the spread. And the other one we had was another cover. Rhode Island, we had another one. And again, it's my metric. They had not covered the spread, so we picked them. They won. But the other one we didn't cover was Vermont. They didn't cover. So we had a couple of those, and then for the NBA, of course, we had the Nets, who I thought the Nets were going to honestly look really good. I was off on them, so I don't have a great read on the Nets this year, which is okay. We missed them and the Grizzlies. So we started off real slow, but we did finish off really strong, which is great. So we got the Pistons, which is always good. Again, and as I put out on my Discord, Lakers is always one I do last minute, but we wound up going Suns. And again, the reason I went over this many times before, when the Lakers win, they're going to win big. They're going to win against, they had just won 3 games in a row, and they won pretty big. They covered spreads. So I feel like people were going to be on them, and it's just a Laker thing to do for them to lay an egg to the Suns. And if you'll notice, the over-under, it was 9.5. And at the end of this game, at this point, I was just comical because I knew what they were doing. At the end of the game, there's a coach's challenge by the Lakers, which gave Russell Westbrook 2 free throws, which would have cut up to 8. Of course, he missed both of them, and the Suns wound up covering by 10. So, this stuff's not an accident. They just do it to mess with fans. So many games by a half point, etc. But we came through strong on that, as we did as I had said with my last video, and then also in the Discord. Really loved the under on Arizona just because they went over every game this year. We got that one, as well as the under on Pacific. And it's all the same metric. These teams had not gone under all year. So on the first half, some teams went to 0-5, but then we just doubled it up on the second, leg of the sequence, and you're not going to have this many teams start 0-5 in any of these regards. So that's what I try and push to people. I know a lot of people want to do parlays and stuff, but to me, the system really... Notre Dame, that was one. We got Notre Dame. That's another interesting one. So this is what I mean by the official metric. Let's look at the Notre Dame game. This one's really interesting. You'll see they won by 16. Let's look at the official metric, 15.5. So there's people, they got clips here, and they got in maybe early, whatever the case may be. The reason I go by this religiously is because these two tie up directly. ESPN's like the Associated Press for this. So whatever the ESPN spread is what this is going to be based off of. So now, according to this officially, it might not have updated yet. Maybe it did. Notre Dame will have 1 win against the spread. I'll search them by their name. It'll be quicker. They may have updated already. So Notre Dame... Oh, no, 3-2. Am I on overs? Yeah, thought so. Okay. So, Notre Dame. Moves to 1-4. Okay, so they did update it. They were 0-4. They moved to 1. And you can see there's still some out there, Northwestern. So, trust me, there's a lot of these that I'm playing. Penn State, I'm loving. That's a fade. But you can see those zeros are disappearing pretty quick. We had about 2 handfuls. Now we still have over/under zeros, which is fine. But I just try and push this metric to people a lot because I think a lot of people overlook it. So they came through for us. And then just at the same time, the Lakers, Arizona under, and Pacific under came through for us. So that's always good. Now, I want to go into tomorrow's games. I do think there's a couple. I don't know if they're traps or if they're just lines where I feel like the public's going to be picking for one reason or another. So the first one is, and again, this year, on many occasions, we will be playing this team, whether we're fading them or picking them. But you can see they're about even. Blazers are slightly better against the spread. But when you have teams with this kind of record against the spread, it's not too imperative. Once you start getting, like I said, to that 75% ratio, and you got a couple teams there, then we can fade them. Or say Cleveland was 6-10, then I would really lean Cleveland. I think this is another case of people just not respecting the Blazers without Damian Lillard. And I think the public just sees, okay, the Cleveland's a great team this year. Vegas has them high on the list. They do have good players. They're not a pretender like some of these other teams, Jazz, Kings, Pacers, in my opinion. But they're certainly not. I don't think they're a top team, but they're considered a top team in the East here. So Blazers going on the road and they have their best guy out. I could see the public fading this game hard, and to me this is another one where it just, like my preseason prediction was, the Blazers are going to surprise a lot of people this year. So I think they cover this spread. I do like that a lot. I like that cover. And like I said, some of these are narratives, some of these are metrics. Heat just covered a couple spreads, or I would have taken them to cover the spread. This one, I love the Mavericks because Luka, he's notorious for losing games he should win, winning games he should lose, covering when he shouldn't. And you can see the record against the spread, very bad. That's not going to hold. So I do like the Mavericks with the 4. Good chance they win, but I'm always going to take the points as well. So those two I like. And here's one, Kings. So Kings, again, improved even better against the spread. You see the Hawks not too good. And I do think, again, at home they want to push Trey. Kings, I think they're going to push them in the Jazz pretty far, but I don't think they wind up finishing in the playoffs. They remind me of the Seahawks in the NFL. I think they want people to think, this team coming out of nowhere. I think eventually teams like the Wolves flip them. I just think they need to spoil some games early, and have people thinking some teams are better than they are. So I do like the Hawks here to cover this. This 12-4. It's similar to the Blazers, but as I just said, there you had two similar teams. Here you have one team that's not so good against the spread, and it's a playoff team, versus one that's doing way better than the average. So I love the Hawks here for that, just for the metric purpose of the against the spread. And I'll be going into all the college ones that are still on 0 or 100 against the spread. And I'll hit the later games as well. I like to wait on something like these because we never know what's going to happen with Kawhi, players on the Clippers, who's playing for the Warriors. I feel like the Blazers, it doesn't matter because they're so deep. That's why I can pick them essentially, before injury reports are out. In this case, sure, they could rule Trey out, I suppose, but just very unlikely. And I'm going more off the metric here anyway. So, always, try and wait a little closer to tip-off so you get the ESPN metric. But, yeah, I like the Blazers covering. I do like the Hawks covering. I like the Mavericks covering. And I like I had a fourth one here. Was the... Yeah, you only had 3. Mavs, Hawks, and Blazers. The fourth one, maybe I was eyeing it, and I just that was at the Warriors Clipper. I think the over I'm liking here a lot. I'm not positive on it yet. I'm gonna have to look at some stuff, but I do think the over is gonna hit there just because of some metrics, and they've barely gone over this year. You could look at this one. Bucks, they're now. This is why I was fading the Bucks for several games in a row, and it worked out because they were like 10-2 on the spread or something. That's not that bad, but it was like something like that. And then of course they just lost like 3-4 in a row, and that's what you're going to see happen. And that's why, especially with the system, it's in my opinion the best interest to always pick the teams that have these terrible records against the spread. So yeah, officially for now, and I'll go into more tomorrow. But I like the Mavericks to cover. I like the Trailblazers to cover, and I like the Hawks to cover. I do like the Clippers over, and I'll go into more, and I'll go into college. As I said, my phone has such limited data, so what happens is I'll do a 20, 30-minute video and then have to do it again. So I'm just trying to make it where you get picks, and I'll be able to get the rest out tomorrow. But at the same time, we can recap them in the same video, so you're not having to watch separate videos for everything. So take care, guys, and happy earnings, and awesome job coming through tonight. The West Coast definitely came through for us, and that's usually how it'll work. It'll come through in the beginning or the end, but either way, we're just playing the metrics. So take care, happy earnings, and I'll drop the Discord link if you want to join, so you can get like any kind of live alpha. I'll drop that in the comments.